SJ. If you're new here to my channel, welcome. I'm SJ. I'm an actress and singer based in Atlanta, and today we're going to be talking about how to memorize lines quickly. There's a plane going by. Come on. All right. Before we go ahead and get started, please go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. It really does help me out. I post new actor videos every single Friday, and I post musical theater videos on Mondays. All right, let's get to it because I have to go to work. Today I have tips for memorizing lines quickly. There are other tips out there, of course, but these are ones that I have found to be helpful to me when memorizing for auditions, for rehearsals, for filming, whatever it is. The first one is practice often. And what I mean by that is if you are not getting a lot of auditions in, go ahead and just find scenes that you want to work on anyway and memorize them. Work on memorizing them and practicing them with a friend or just by yourself. There's also another thing I'm going to mention later that you can use to help out with practicing. But yeah, practicing often. I found that by being in class and having auditions regularly, my memorization has gotten so much better. I can just pick up lines pretty quickly. However, that being said, if I don't have as many auditions in a week, it's probably good for me to go ahead and work on some other scenes of my own, because this is going to go ahead and keep the tools sharp. It's like working out. If you're training for a 5K, you can't just work out once a week and expect to build endurance. You have to be consistent. So my second tip is say it out loud. That might sound kind of silly, but you'd be surprised because I have caught myself, at least me, memorizing scenes, going over it like, okay, got it, going over it like just internally, and maybe I'm moving my lips, which is still helpful, but I'm not really practicing saying out loud. Third tip is memorize without inflection. This is very, very important because if you decide how your character is going to say certain lines, then one, you're not going to be able to act in the moment because you've already come up with a preconceived idea of how you should say the lines, and two, if you are doing this with a scene partner, whether it be in class or a film or theater or whatever, they're gonna give you those lines probably a little bit different than you internalized them giving them to you. So that's gonna throw you off, and you're gonna still try to go back to the way that you memorized saying the words. It's just not gonna work. So if there's nothing else you take from this video, nothing else, it is that you need to memorize without inflection, which, like I said, just means, example, if I have a line that says, "Oh my gosh, how could you?" then I need to memorize it without inflection, which is just, "Oh my gosh, how could you?" rather than, "Oh my gosh, how could you?" or, "Oh my gosh, how could you?" That's my point, is that you don't want to decide how you're going to say the lines. You just want to memorize the lines. Tip number 4. This is the one that I have found to be really helpful. Practice with an audio recorder. Same with this though, practice without inflection. So when you go and record your lines and the other person's lines, just say them very monotone. My favorite app that I personally like to use for this is Run Lines. It's only like $4 for a membership for the entire year, something super cheap like that. And it's really, really helpful because you can record your lines and your partner's lines, and then you can practice with just the partner's lines, or you can practice with both, or you can have a gap in between yours and your partner's lines, so you can try to say yours, and then if you messed up on a few words, you can hear it play back. It's super helpful. I listen to this a lot, like when I'm driving, when I'm going to sleep. Really helpful when you have a busy schedule. My next tip is highlight your lines. It just helps. My next tip is memorizing while falling asleep is super helpful. So if you don't have time to take a nap, but you have an audition and maybe it's in person the next morning, or maybe it's a self-tape due in like 10 days, but you want to try to get it in like 2 or 3 days, start memorizing today and memorize literally while you're in bed about to fall asleep. Go ahead and play it on your audio recorder or have your lines physically there highlighted for you to look at. I'm telling you guys, this is one of the best ones I have found, is that it really does it. Like, memorize while you're falling asleep. Now, if you have an audition the same day of and you don't have time for a nap, you might not be able to do that. But if you have time, memorize while you're falling asleep. The next tip is learn as much as you can about the story and the character. Now, you usually have some kind of breakdown that gives you a little bit of information. That's usually not enough information to go off of though. So you're gonna have to infer some things in between the lines, make your own decisions about why my character's doing this, or why I feel this way about said person, or what I want in this scene. What's going to really help is if you read that breakdown thoroughly to get as much information as you can about the scene and the story. And then, like I said, come up with your own decisions of what else is going on in the story. That's going to help a lot, because then you're memorizing not just words, but you're starting to understand why you would say these things to the other person. You're starting to understand why you think this way. And all of this goes into like scene analysis and character analysis, which you can really dig deep into once you get the script. But when you only have like a few lines, or you've got like a smaller thing of sides, you're gonna have to just kind of do as much as you can and then make your own artistic decisions. My final tip is practice with somebody. Practice with your roommate or with a friend. Get on FaceTime and practice with one of your acting buddies from class. Or if none of them are available, or your roommate just kind of makes it harder on you because they're trying to help but they're just not really helping, you know what I mean, use We Audition. WeAudition.com is amazing. It's only like $10 a month for a membership. Highly recommend this. You can hop on there, practice with a reader for a small fee, or some of them read for free. But this website is great because people are always on there. You've got people on there from Los Angeles, from New York, from Atlanta, Chicago. I read with somebody last week from Australia, which was super cool. So go use this website. It's super great. I mean, I've even gotten to read with Broadway actors and series regulars, and they're usually pretty dang good. All right, they're really good. Not to mention, if you are going on there looking for a little bit of coaching, great for that too. All right, so this is all I have for you guys today. I hope that these tips were very helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and let me know what your advice is for memorizing lines, because I am always looking for new ways to memorize lines, and I would love to use some of yours. All right, guys, have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!